Teslacam, I hope you're satisfied.
MJ was driving his Tesla Model Y across a bridge near downtown Dallas. The full self-driving beta was enabled when a Mazda came up behind him at high speed. The driver of the Mazda lost control, overcorrected, then crashed into the back of the Tesla, effectively performing a pit maneuver at highway speed. MJ felt the Mazda impact his Tesla, and then he felt his car countersteer throughout the 180-degree spin, keeping itself stable. In his opinion, FSD Beta did a great job getting the vehicle under control and keeping the wreck from getting any worse. Thankfully, nobody was injured. Both drivers stopped and exchanged insurance information. With the help of the police, they safely moved off the bridge. MJ's repair bill came to $29,000, but that isn't the most expensive repair bill in this episode, so keep watching. Kyle was driving his Model Y down an Arizona highway when wham! Surprisingly, there was no bam to follow this wham. The other driver missed Kyle's Tesla with inches to spare. The reckless driver had been speeding and weaving between lanes to pass traffic when he lost control and spun out. Thankfully for Kyle and everyone else on the road, no major collision occurred, but the same isn't true in our next story, which ended in catastrophe. While he was at work, Travis received a notification informing him of a tornado warning. Moments later, he got another notification. This one was from his Tesla app, letting him know that a tree was on top of his car. Okay, technically the notification said his alarm had been triggered, but he discovered the tree when he turned on Sentry Mode's live view. Travis called his local fire department after the tornado passed, but when they came and tried to remove the tree, they weren't able to. Next, he called a local lawn care company, and they were able to remove the tree. That's when he discovered the true extent of the damage. Travis wanted to shout out Nick at the Tesla Collision Center in Dublin, Ohio, who has been extremely helpful throughout this ordeal. Sadly, Travis's insurance provider still hasn't responded to Tesla's repair estimate, which came to $36,000. Until they do, Tesla doesn't know if the vehicle will be totaled or if they should begin making repairs. What do you think the result will be? Let us know in the comments, and we'll follow up on this story in a future episode. This submitter was driving on Florida's turnpike when he encountered a truck driver that was eyeballing him as he drove by. To say the guy was angry would be an understatement, as you'll soon see. What triggered him, you may wonder? Our submitter told us he merely merged into the truck driver's lane, but this provoked him into opening his door while his vehicle was still in motion. The driver then leaned out of his moving truck and, grabbed himself while yelling at our submitter. In response, our submitter noped out of there. You might want to sit down for this next video because you're about to witness one of the worst drivers we've ever featured. Alex was about to enter a highway when he suddenly encountered this insane driver completely blocking the on-ramp. Evidently, the driver had changed her mind about getting on the highway and decided to turn around to go backward up the ramp. The drivers behind Alex grew impatient and started honking, stressing the driver out even more. Alex ended up having to tell her she couldn't continue by shouting and waving his hands. And she eventually made a 3-point turn to get back on the highway. Alex was glad both he and the drivers behind him were paying attention, as this would have played out very differently if any of them had been driving distracted. A part of him was very excited after this, as he finally had something to send Wham Baam after watching our videos for over 2 years. He told us to keep doing what we're doing, as he thinks our videos help viewers become better drivers, unlike the driver featured in this video. Thanks, Alex. Kieran was driving down a highway in Ireland when a tractor was traveling in the left lane up ahead. The low morning sun seemed to blind some drivers to the danger ahead, causing some of them to brake too late. A BMW collided with an Audi TT, which then slammed into the vehicle ahead of it. Kieran managed to swerve into the empty lane to his left just in time. Thankfully, nobody was injured. The driver of the tractor just kept on trucking, oblivious to the chaos behind him. Kieran kept going, but sent an email to the police. They asked him to come give a statement, which he did, and they were also very thankful for his video evidence. There's a reason slow-moving vehicles aren't allowed on major highways. It's a disaster waiting to happen. What do you think about this interesting vehicle Kevin spotted on I-80 in Wyoming? After a bit of research, Kevin found out this was actually Lee the horse logger. Apparently, Lee has made national and even international news for his slow trips across America at 3 miles per hour in a horse-drawn covered wagon. We tried to research the legality of driving horses down highways, and most states actually allow this mode of transportation unless signage expressly forbids it. Who knew? Jason had just gotten a haircut and was driving on the Port Mann Bridge of the Trans-Canada Highway when he suddenly heard a loud bang. At first, he thought something had fallen off the road maintenance truck, but then he realized a taxi in the leftmost lane had hit the truck at full speed. The collision made it on the news, and based on their reporting, the only occupant of the taxi was the driver. He was taken to a hospital, but thankfully he survived the incident. Mr. Stark was driving south on I-205 to pick up some snowboarding gear when a herd of bikers flew past him. Mr. Stark told us he cheered the bikers on and he thought it looked like they were having fun. We're not sure if he's serious or joking, but either way, it looks like one of the bikers was also celebrating. In all the chaos, Mr. Stark almost didn't notice the Cybertruck that was right in front of him. You won't believe this, but we have yet to receive a single submission from any Cybertruck owners. Maybe they're waiting until we hit 1 million subscribers. Feel free to help us out with that. Steve was driving in Norwich when he was passed by a very retro-futuristic vehicle. Can anyone help us identify this UDO? That's short for Unidentified Driving Object. We'd love to know what this is, so let us know in a comment if you know the answer. Tyler was driving his Model 3 down a highway outside of Las Vegas when unsecured items flew off a trailer and hit a Honda. Tyler ran over the debris, but thankfully his Tesla wasn't damaged. He doesn't know if the same can be said for the other vehicles on the road at the time. It looks like the Honda took a hard hit, but both it and the pickup truck pulling the trailer kept right on going like nothing had happened. I guess what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Until it gets published on Wham Baam Teslacam, that is. Enoch perfectly planned and positioned his family's Model 3 at the ideal angle for Sentry Mode to capture this incredible sight in the night sky. Enoch knew that this spectacular sight would pass over him at this exact position and at this exact time. So he and his sister stepped outside to watch it fly over, and he told us they both freaked out when they saw it. Of course, anyone who watched last week's episode will remember what this is, as we explained it in great detail, so there's no need to explain it again. Unless, of course, you skipped that episode. You wouldn't do that, would you? Enoch's 17th birthday had been the day before, and he told us he couldn't have asked for a better birthday gift. He wanted to shout out his parents for getting the family a Tesla. Nina was heading to work when she watched a Mustang hit a barrier, then bounce back and smash into a white pickup truck. Nina told us she'd noticed the Mustang driver behaving erratically in the passing lane earlier, so she wasn't surprised, but seeing the collision still shook her. Lee was driving south on Highway 167 in Arkansas at about 11 p.m., headed for his brother's house in Little Rock to watch the eclipse. Suddenly, he encountered a vehicle weaving all over the road. He followed it for a while from a safe distance, but he finally decided to call 911 as they continued getting closer to a city. Within 5 minutes, a police officer caught up to them and pulled between Lee's Tesla and the wandering car. The next time it drifted across the center line, the officer lit up his party lights and pulled it over. Lee continued, hoping his actions had been helpful. Well done, Lee. You the real MVP. Speaking of the eclipse, Jeremy sent us this epic video from within the path of totality that he captured with his Tesla Sentry Mode. family and friends joined his team at Dysinger Incorporated to witness the incredible solar eclipse. It looks like they made quite the event of it. Check out this incredible footage captured by his Tesla. If you want to see more reckless drivers, check out this video from Wham Baam Security Cam on the top. Or if you want to see more Cybertruck sightings, check out this video on the bottom. We'll see you again next week.